Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the king of armor destruction in the Armor Wizard Zap. We have a body armor test for you all today. That's why you came over here. This is from RTS Tactical. We have in the past tested their AR-600 steel, and it held up pretty well to some threats, although, again, with steel body armor, our weakness is M193, typically over 3150 feet per second. But the reason I'm doing this test today is because RTS has a new patent pending or patented fragmentation spall mitigation coating called their RESES, R.A.N.G.E, maybe it's Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Someone will surely correct me in the comments below. I mainly just wanted to buy a whole bunch of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and tape them to our plate. So this guy is 678 thousandths. It is single curve. It weighs 7.7 pounds. Again, it's AR-600 steel. What makes this unique is we have our polyurea or Line-X coating on top of here, but inside here is a different type of material. I think it's a cork and rubber type mixture that helps break up and catch those fragments that come off the steel from hitting it. Now over here on my channel, we do things completely different than any other YouTube channel. I'm here to give you guys information. I'm not necessarily here to sell you anything, although at a high level, anything you see is always an attempt to sell you something. But I want to give you guys information, and I want to mimic the NIJ as much as possible because that's always considered worst case. Although with 06 standards, there's a limited threat profile for this. Pretty much level 3 M80 ball, and that's it. So we have a bunch of different threats that we shoot at it, but we shoot at 45 feet. That is the official NIJ testing distance for rifle armor. We shoot at 0 degrees because that is worst case scenario. We have a chronograph, Chronopal Digital DLX. I'm talking too fast because we got to know the velocity of the projectile so if it stops it in a real world situation at distance, we know that that round is going to be stopped. We also use this giant clay briefcase you see right here filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay donated by Chavant. That it acts as a compressible media for the armor to stand up against. It has to be heated to a certain temperature so that you can certify back face. So we're just using it as a representation. You know, if we see 50 plus millimeters of back face here, then in an NIJ test, you're going to see more. You're allowed 44 millimeters. We put a spreadsheet here at the beginning, and at the end, we fill it all out with all the velocity figures. So kind of foreshadow what we're going to shoot at it. But at the time of recording, I don't know it. I'm just going to randomly guess what we're going to shoot at it. But seeing how this plate is specifically designed to help with our fragmentation, I think we're going to go right at our first plate with 6 shots of M80 ball because that has always been a trouble area for any kind of fragmentation coating is after 3 shots of that higher velocity round and all that mass that these coatings can't stop it. As I mentioned, the steel inside of the RESES plate system is the same that we've tested in the past. So we're not going to go through trying to find its threshold. I'm more interested in our fragmentation mitigation coating that they have on here. So we're going to start with 6 rounds of M80 ball. That's 145 to 150 grain full metal jacket. Sometimes the jacket is bi-metal. This is our Winchester Lake City surplus. We have a Savage Axis 110 tactical with a 24-inch barrel. Our Yankee Hill Phantom M2 suppressor. So we're getting maximum velocity off of this. I have a little cardboard structure down there to try to catch if we get any fragmentation so we can actually see it. And we're just going to take 6 shots at this particular plate with this round. Hopefully my scope offsets are correct. Don't worry, we will throw some M193 at this. So this should be in the upper left corner. Good velocity off that guy. And then this one will be on the far right. This one will be below it. We do need to maintain 2 inches from the edge. That is an NIJ fair hit standard, and Mendel said that's about the limits for this coating anyways. Oops. Got a hard primer strike. These ones should be in the bottom corner. That's all 6. Let's go see what we did. All right, here is our makeshift box. This material that you see right here is like a cork. This is what is on the in front of the strike face. We're looking for any fragmentation marks on the side of our box. I don't see any there. I see a couple marks down here on the bottom, and just right over there you can see some of that fragmentation coming off the side. These shots were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these shots were about 3 inches from the edge, that one as well. So this coating, while it's making a mess and would be contained in your plate carrier, is holding that fragmentation and preventing it from spraying out to the side. Like I said, in the past with other steel, not naming any names, but typically with other steel, after about the 3rd or sometimes even the 2nd shot of M80 ball, we're getting fragmentation marks all over the sides of our makeshift fragmentation detector there. All right, let's see if we stopped all those rounds. I have no doubt, based on our prior testing, that we did. Oh, ruh-oh, Raggy. We actually had 2 penetrations off of that on the 1st and 2nd shot. Now bear in mind, the NIJ's specification for M80 ball is 2750, and we were almost 3,000 feet per second. We've got a considerable amount of dimpling going on there. I am above and beyond. Interesting about this coating, there's not much left of it. You can see that we've got a thicker area around here, and then this cork, rubber, whatever material it is, makes up the center of it. And like I said, it did a pretty good job at stopping our fragmentation. These 2 hits are concerning, but again, these are above NIJ specifications. We've got plate number 2 strapped up down there. We got our mitigation box detector strapped up. We have a 14.5-inch upper. This is from Pro 2A Tactical. I got this in a 9x39 so we can do some evaluations on it, and we have extra barrel lengths for all of our testing. Got a primary arms 3X Cyclops up top. We have 3 5.56 rounds. 2 are very common. This is M193. That is a 55 grain full metal jacket. That is known to defeat steel armor. We have M855, 62 grain ball round, SS109. That's the NATO round. Used to be the Army's standard ball round. It's got a conical steel penetrating tip on it. Steel is known to stop that. Then we have the Army's current issue ball round, even down as low as basic training for training rounds. This is M855A1, 62 grains again as well. Copper core with a very large arrowhead penetrating tip, harder than the M855. I think it's about 60 on the C scale Rockwell. M855 is about 49 to 52 depending on the manufacturer. We'll try to take 3 shots of each. When we tested RTS last time, I think 3150 was the limit, at least in my testing. Based on our offsets, I'll try to call these out. So this one should be in the upper middle. Good velocity there. And this should be on the right side. Gotta make sure I get these counting for velocity. This is gonna be on the next row. Hopefully we're getting velocity off these guys. Then our M855. I don't think we're getting velocity. I took these sun shields off because it's getting a little late in the day. Hopefully we're getting velocity off this. This should still be M855 shot number 2. Got velocity off that time. And then shot number 3. Now our M855A1, this should be on the bottom row. Got an error off that one, but we got some velocities off that. I apologize. That's the downside of doing this out here myself, is that sometimes you have some errors. The downside to this coating is it's near impossible for me to see my shots on here. I have an offset. It was 1 inch low and 1.5 inches right. So I marked out where I think these shots are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we're missing maybe 1 on there. This guy right here is not a fair hit, and because of its proximity to the edge there, we do have some fragmentation coming off the side. That's what these burn marks are right here. You can see that it's let go right there. We'll turn this around and see if we have any penetrations from that 14.5 inch barrel. I don't see any frag on the coming out of the bottom. So there was our M855A1 shot, so those were down there. Place those bets in the comments below. Ouch. No pass-throughs, folks. Nice. So this particular steel out of a 14.5 inch is doing its job. And we talk about the fragmentation mitigation coating. You can see on this edge, the bottom edge, and even this side, it's still intact. It's just that M193 that I put right up here broke out that way, but the rest of the coating is still there. As I mentioned with other steel, as long as we're shooting 5.56 and like 9mm at stuff like this, this coating does a really good job, and it seems like this cork stuff inside here is doing a good job of slowing that frag down too. So we got no penetrations on here. We're going to jump a barrel length here and go to our maximum 5.56 velocities, and then I think we'll go back to our M193. We have our TC Compass, a 22-inch barrel. Got the JK Armament rifle kit up front because I forgot the Turbo 5.56. I've got the new Primary Arms SLX 4 to 16 by 44 first focal plane scope up here. Pretty nice little scope for the money. So we have 2 more rounds of M855 and 2 more rounds of M855A1. I'm going to put these on the left side of the plate. Hopefully my scope offsets are correct. That's the bad thing about shooting at 45 feet is you get these sighted in at 100 plus, and you have to remember what it is close up. It should be about 2-inch drop. Not sure if we got a velocity reading off that or not. Now the A1. Not getting the velocity off these folks that I can tell. If I am, just tell me to shut up in the comments. Get a hard primer there. I apologize about the lack of velocities. The sun must be at a certain angle that we're not getting any of it to pick up the velocity. I'm going to add the chronograph screens for any subsequent shots. But our shots were all contained over here somewhere. Again, with this particular coating, I can't see really any of the entrance holes on it. But here was M1 or M855 shot number 2, A1 shot number 1 and 2. The first shot somewhere up here. I put 2 shots off camera of M855 in the center just because I was trying to get a chronograph reading and I can't see those. Place those bets in the comments below. It's one of those days I probably should just call it because I'm not having the best day. R.A.N.G.E. We have a penetration from both of our M855 shots, or M855A1 shots. Our M855, the 2 shots here and 2 shots here were contained. Interesting. Our coating over here is still holding. We're 2 inches from the edge there. That's a good thing. We'll take our final shots of M193 from our 16-inch. This is a Palmetto State Armory build. We got our primary arms 1X up top, the X2 Dev Group jackal and muzzle device, Independence M193, Mr. Cookin here. I put the light screens back on the chronograph, and we were getting some readings. They should be in the bottom right of the plate. 3217. Yeah. 32 something or other. You guys can see that. Good velocity off those. Our final 3 shots of M193. Shot number 1 was right here. Shot number 2 was right there. That is not a fair hit. That's, you know, an inch. Should have been over here. I really need to get some LVPOs so I can set them to 6X. The other downside is not being able to see where they're actually hit. And shot number 3 was somewhere up here. The good news is the coating, again, 556 is holding. But how did it do against M193 for 16-inch? R.A.N.G.E. We have both shots down here penetrating, as well as this shot right here. Oops, did I do that? Like I mentioned in some of my other steel videos, as far as I'm aware, 2022, the hunt still continues for me to find an RF2 capable steel plate. It's got to be a special mixture of a high hardness and at the right thickness steel for it to stop M193. That stuff is no joke. We're also discovering that M80 ball is no joke when we go above the specification of 2750 feet per second. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to continue to use that 24-inch 308 when we do our steel armor testing, or if we should drop back down to the 22-inch for a little more realistic velocities. Now, as far as this fragmentation mitigation coating goes, I feel that it did a fairly good job. I like that on this particular setup that we've got this really thick part of the coating on the outside, and this cork rubberized stuff seems to catch the fragments. Now, Mendel from RTS Tactical said that they're actually going to certify this plate, and it stopped, you know, 6 hits of M80 ball, and the coating seemed to do a pretty good job. We had minimal amount of fragmentation coming on the outside of this, again, maintaining our 2-inch spread. Now, as far as our other threats go, we tested this steel on the same day as some other steel threats, and our M855A1 out of that 22-inch and even shorter barrel lengths continues to be a threat for steel, as well as our M193. That's always the crux. You get above that 3150 feet per second with M193 and the magic happens and it just pokes holes in that steel. As I mentioned with our RF2 rating, M193 has to be going 3250 feet per second. So if you know of any steel armor company that's advertising those kind of velocities, let me know in the comments below. Well, everyone, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. I had a great day with my wife and son out here. Got to ride the side-by-side, do some shooting with him. So we had a great day. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who helped make these possible. Number one is my Patreon and Subscribe Star followers. I have a link tree in the description below with various affiliate links and ways to support me. Got the summaries for the armor and velocity testing in there. Number two is Mendel over RTS Tactical, who again, in full transparency, contacted me and offered to send me those plates to review demo with no strings attached. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.